Section 3.3, Summary Statistics, Measures of Center. So there are a few averages that measure center, and the most common are mean and median. Now, mode is also a measure of center, but it's often not a very reliable one. Mean and median are the most common. Mean, or arithmetic average, is also written x bar, an x with a line over it. And what you do to find the mean, or the arithmetic average, is you add all of the data values together and you divide by the total number of data values. The median of a set of data is the middle value. When the data are listed in order from smallest to largest, you find the middle number of that list. This also makes the median what we call the 50th percentile, and we'll talk about percentile here in a little while. Modes are related to the peaks, where similar values are grouped. Visually, it's the midpoint of each peak in the histogram. Activity 1, I'm going to have you do. Mirabelle's exam scores for her last math test were 79, 86, 82, and 94. What was her mean test score? What was her median test score? And one thing to keep in mind when you're determining the median, if two numbers share that middle location, you have to find the average between those two numbers. So, for instance, if I were to find the median of this set of data, they're already in order from least to greatest. The number in the middle is somewhere between 20 and 25. So in order to find the median, I would have to add 20 to 25 and divide by 2. And if I did that, I would get that the median was 22.5. The number between those two numbers. Now, if I had instead one more number added on to either end, my median would just be now 25, the number in the middle of that list. All right, so when you go about activity 1, start by putting the data in order from least to greatest, and then find the median and find the mean. All right, we'll review that in class. I'm going to get you set up for activity 2 and 3. Activity 2. 100 families from a particular neighborhood are randomly selected and asked to give their annual household income, rounded to the nearest $5,000. The results are shown in the frequency table below. Calculate the mean by hand. All right, and so this is going to get tedious because there's 100 families here. So you need to think about how could you figure out how much money is in this neighborhood. You have 6 families all saying that they made $15,000. So how much money is present for those 6 families? You just multiply the 6 by the 15, and you would get that those 6 families all making $15,000 would have $90,000 amongst them all. And if you continue this process for the rest of the groups, you would have 8 and 20, $160,000. So I'm going to have you finish it up. I've got you started. Then when you're done getting how much every group has, you'll want to add all of these up. So find the sum of them. And when you get that number, you'll take it and you'll divide it by the total number of families. All right, so that'll be what your x bar is. So there were 100 families, so divide that by 100. Okay, so add it all up and that'll be your sum. Put that up there, divide it by the 100 families, and that is your mean. Your median is not that bad, really, if you think about it being the 50th person. What we'll do here is we'll do a cumulative frequency count to figure out where the 50th person is. So where's that 50th family? 6 people are at the beginning of what we have going on. They're making the $15,000, and then 8 more people are in line after them. So how many people have we talked to? In order, we're now up to 14 people. Then another 11 people, so 25. And then we have 17 more people after that. We're just doing the cumulative frequency. We're adding each group on. We're now up to 42. Getting super close to 50. Adding the 19 on. All right, we've passed the 50th family. So we can stop. Where was that 50th family? And when we had finished with the folks making 30,000, we were at the 42nd person in line. That means that 8 people in, we had 35 written 19 times. The 8th 35 was the 50th percentile. So there's your 50th person, or the middle. So the median of that data was 35,000. Not too bad. What I want to do now is add a histogram to this image so that we can discuss what's going to happen when we add in an outlier. All right, so on activity 3, we're going to do the same math, except we've added someone in who's made, well, think about that number. It says 3,000, but it's in thousands. So all of these were missing an extra 3 zeros. So this last person in this neighborhood is throwing our scale off a little bit because they're making $3 million. So my question right now is, what is the mean and median of this new neighborhood? So do the same process that we had done before. And the thing that I'm going to work on right now is a histogram of both of these neighborhoods. Pre-rich family and post-rich family coming in. I'm just using the scale that they gave us. And it's not ideal. But because 3,000 is just so much further away than everything else, I'm going to break my line and put in 3,000. We already know that it's an outlier for this neighborhood. And label things. Okay, so I had 6 people making 15,000. So I've counted by 2s. There's my 6 folks making 15,000. And I had 8 people making 20, and so forth. Okay, and then I've got 17, 19, 12. Okay, and then I've got one way out here. Now, previously, my mean and median were much closer together. What I want to see is how will the mean and median be different in this histogram. The median and then the mean of this set of data.